What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel. Today, doing our final regular season live reaction, grades, whatever you want to call it, for the Philadelphia Eagles as they defeated the New York Giants 34-17 to secure a playoff berth. In a game where they came in ravaged with injuries, and then during the game, an outside contender, legitimate outside contender. I really did think down the stretch it was Kyler Murray, Miles Sanders, Josh Jacobs, A.J. Brown for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Miles Sanders got hurt in the first quarter. All-pro guard Brandon Brooks went down on special teams, like on an extra point. It was a game where everything that could go wrong kind of went wrong, and they still found a way to win. And it's just coming up a little bit later because for the fourth time this year, I've put money on the Raiders, and they've lost. Between that and Ohio State, not a great weekend of betting for C4, but what we do know is we made the playoffs. We're going to play the Seahawks or 49ers. That's the night game. But I kind of have that on in the background as I continue to work on my draft classes. I'm doing a complete revamp on my draft classes, so that'll be dropping for you guys soon, early in the new year. But let's get into the grades, and then we'll get into the reaction about this Eagles team making the playoffs. Carson Wentz was 23 of 40, 289 yards, a touchdown on the day. He was very good. You know, classic Wentz performance. It's probably usually, I mean, when you throw it 40 times, like I feel like, what's the average in the NFL? 30? So when you have no wide receivers and you're throwing it, you know, at least 10 more times on average, more than like, you know, a consistent, well-balanced offense, you're going to have an ugly throw here and there. He had a couple ugly throws, but generally speaking, Wentz was very good. I'm going to give him a B+ on the day, but he needed 250. He got 289. He's the first Eagles quarterback to throw for 4,000 passing yards in a single season. And to give the fact that literally, he had Nelson Aguilar, who might be the worst starting wide receiver in the league. That's a starting wide receiver, not a guy that's playing due to injury. That's a legit, like, he's on the depth chart as wide receiver too. Josh Perkins, Greg Ward, AAF legend, former college quarterback Greg Ward. You have Josh Perkins, couldn't tell you where he went to school. And I know where 90% of people in the NFL went to school. We got Deontay Burnett, who we just signed out the practice squad from the Jets. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, our second-round wide receiver, is avoided like the plague, and he's done absolutely nothing. But yet, with all of that, Carson Wentz has had like one of the best statistical seasons that an Eagles quarterback has ever had. So pretty much anytime I make a positive tweet for Wentz, and I get some negative ones, that's where you hit that mute button on Twitter, which is good. I almost need to do that to weed out just the idiots that are on my Twitter that try to interact with me. You know, they follow me. And, you know, I love that. It's just a little bit of a purge. I put you on that Twitter bench. Sometimes you got to get pulled from the game, and I got to sit you on the bench. I mean, how at this point can you not acknowledge that Carson Wentz is an elite quarterback? I can't say he's top 5 yet, but I honestly think he's in that 5-6. Like, we had this debate last night at the bar. Obviously, I'm biased, but they're like, what quarterbacks would you take? Like, C4, what quarterbacks would you take right now over Carson Wentz? And I was like, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, most likely Lamar Jackson. I think generally speaking, I'm a huge Lamar Jackson fan. He's playing very well this season. But I mean, obviously, you know, how far do you want to expand that hypothetical? Because hypothetically speaking, you have to have a certain offense to have Lamar Jackson to be a god. But anyways, I'll give you Lamar Jackson. And then I think Carson Wentz is in that, he's in that next category of like Drew Brees, Carson Wentz, Deshaun Watson. Probably it. That's probably Matt Ryan. I don't even know if you can put Matt Ryan in there. You got a guy, that guy just gets bailed out by Julio Jones all the time. So, I mean, I personally, if I'm ranking my 5 quarterbacks, I think I have Wentz at 5 right now. I think I give Carson Wentz a slight nod over Deshaun Watson. I think talent-wise, fairly similar, but Deshaun Watson has a DeAndre Hopkins. Carson Wentz has a Greg Ward. I think that's the biggest difference for me, giving Wentz the edge this season. I'm a huge Deshaun Watson fan. Like, Carson Wentz, Deshaun Watson, like Lamar Jackson are like 3 of my favorite, arguably probably my 3 favorite quarterbacks in the NFL right now. And I know that's a big discussion, but where they rank together. But Wentz was unbelievable. Boston Scott on the day, 54 yards, 3 touchdowns, also chipped in for 4 catches, 84 yards. Unbelievable performance. I mean, he was kind of brought in from New Orleans. We signed him up the practice squad to be maybe the Darren Sproles replacement. We definitely saw some flashes throughout the preseason, and hey, he got himself a spot on the roster next year. Like, I think if we can get Jordan Howard back on a reasonable deal, I would Boston Scott, Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard running back tandem. That sounds pretty goddamn good to me. Miles Sanders had 52 yards on the day, which is, I mean, obviously unreal performance until he got hurt, averaging 5.8 yards per carry. He's a stud. We absolutely need him back for the playoffs. He's our best offensive player, I think. I would actually say Miles Sanders has been better than even Zach Ertz down the stretch. You look at wide receivers, or we're just receivers. We can't really call them wide receivers because they don't do anything. So Boston Scott led the team. Dallas Goedert, 4 catches, 65 yards. He's looked really, really damn good. But we know what we have in them. Josh Perkins had 50 yards and a touchdown. Deontay Burnett, who we got off the Jets practice squad, I think 2 weeks ago, had 48 yards. Greg Ward, 6 catches, 43 yards. I mean, there's no drops. It's just weird, man. Like, these receivers are playing better than Aguilar and Alshon were. Like, back then. I mean, Alshon had that big game against Miami, and then a losing effort. But, like, you just see the hunger. You just, like, I can dog them for the talent all I want. Yes, every other team that has made the playoffs has a infinitely better wide receiver core than the Philadelphia Eagles. But our guys are playing with heart. Like, you see Nelson Aguilar with the drops, and he's slouching, and Alshon and Jeffrey not running back to line of scrimmage, just kind of ho-hum if he doesn't make a big play. But these guys here, they're fighting and they're battling. Talent, what's that? There's like that saying where, like, if talent doesn't work hard, then I don't know what it is. You know what it's saying, though. If you ever heard that, if you ever played sports ever, it's like hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. I think that's the actual saying. I think you're kind of seeing that a little bit with these Eagle wide receivers. So, I mean, I didn't see any drops. I didn't see any bad drops. I didn't see, like, I'm going to give the receivers B+ again. Everyone gets a favorable game. Boston Scott gets an A+. You get 3 touchdowns over almost 150 yards. You get an A+. Rest of the receivers get a B+. Special teams, Jake Elliott finally making his kicks, made a 50-yard kick. He's been pretty shaky ever since he got that contract extension. Special teams played very well today. Defense played outstanding. Really, outside of that one play that they had with Saquon Barkley, this was an outstanding defensive performance. As good, I think, probably as that Jets game. We had 2 sacks from Derek Barnett, a sack from Timmy Jernigan, a sack from Brandon Graham, who's unbelievable day, really, really good. Sidney Jones had an interception. Sidney Jones had one kind of bad play, but I think I counted 4 or 5. Like, wow, Sidney Jones made a great play on that. I think he's our starter. I think like something clicked with Sidney Jones. I think that benching where he wasn't getting dressed, like it was just that kick in the ass that he needed to be like, you know what, I was a first round caliber pick. What was it, 3 years ago? And yeah, I suffered an Achilles injury. Achilles injury, incredibly difficult to come back from. I'm someone I've had experienced that exact same injury. It took me a full year and a half until I was like, I'm starting to feel kind of normal again. So, I mean, obviously that could be magnitude even more for a professional athlete. But I think he's first name on the sheet. I think you can't look at what Sidney Jones has done during this winning streak. And even if, Darby's on IR, right? But even Jalen Mills, there's no way that Jalen Mills' name should be ahead of Sidney Jones right now on the depth chart. Crayvon LeBlanc was sensational today in the slot. Like, honestly, I would do, depending on the matchups, if it's a bigger guy, you put Rasul Douglas out there. If it's a faster guy, you put Avonte Maddox out there. But our 3 corners right now, 100%, need either be Rasul or Avonte on one side based upon what this matchup calls for. If you need a speed, like, who are we going to play? If we play, if we're playing Seattle, even though DK's fast, you probably want Rasul Douglas on DK Metcalf, right? And then for Tyler Lockett, speedier guy, that's where you put like an Avonte Maddox or Sidney Jones. And then you look at, in the slot, then you have Crayvon LeBlanc. But the point I'm getting to, because we don't really know who we're playing, be it Seattle or San Francisco, is that the first 3 names need to be a combination of Avonte Maddox and Rasul Douglas, and then Crayvon LeBlanc in the slot and Sidney Jones on the outside. That is the combination. That is the winning formula. Right now, the cornerback spot for Philadelphia. But defense today, they're getting an A. They were very, very good. They would get an A+ if it wasn't for the Saquon Barkley touchdown. That was just straight up annoying. Malcolm Jenkins, 8 tackles. Crayvon LeBlanc, 8 tackles. Nigel Bradham had 9 tackles. It was a good performance. Really, really good performance. And just like that, even though Dallas dropped, 47 on Washington, Philadelphia is your NFC East champion for the 2019-2020 season. Back where we belong. Best team. Doug Peterson, Coach of the Year. I personally don't think Kyle Shanahan should get robbed like Doug Peterson was when the Super Bowl year. Where Doug Peterson took the Eagles from worst to first and then went on to win the Super Bowl, and they gave it to fucking McVay. Shanahan did the same kind of thing. Took the Niners from worst to first. He should get it. But if you're using the criteria of who did the most with the least, it's probably Doug Peterson. So I think if you're making that short list for Coach of the Year, I think at least top 5, Doug Peterson's going to make, because he's done one hell of a job. I mean, I, like many of you, will question his play calling. Sometimes it's not the best, but when he needs it to be good, it's generally pretty damn good. But as far as organizing a team, I don't think there's a better coach, really, in the NFC. I mean, obviously, you got that guy out there in New England that's easily the best coach at pretty much everything. But I think when we're talking about NFC coaches, I think Doug Peterson's like creme de la creme, top of the top, right there with obviously Shanahan this year. And if you're looking at the body of work, Sean Payton, that's a big win, man. I'm not super hyped right now because I don't even know who we're playing yet. We'll probably talk about that at a later video. But Philadelphia 34, Giants 17, Eagles make the playoffs. Dallas doesn't. I mean, most Dallas fans are going to be pretty happy because that means they're getting rid of Jason Garrett. But, whatever. You're going to be sitting on the couch, and there's a chance, especially, I think Philly matches up fairly well. Even though, historically speaking, I can't even remember a time Philly's beat, if we play Seattle. I can't remember a time Philly's beat Seattle. Seattle is as banged up as Philly. That's a winnable game. I think Philly matches up with San Francisco. So, either matchup, I think Philly has a chance. I wouldn't write them off right now. Especially if Miles Sanders comes back, Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks comes back. I think we're gonna be competitive in the playoffs this year. But obviously, you gotta take it a game at a time. There's no way with this Eagles team you could forecast like, oh man, we might win the Super Bowl. No, take it at a game at a time. And at least we can take it a game at a time. Right now, it's just a week at a time for Dallas Cowboy fans. What the hell? They figure out what the hell they're doing next year, right? They're hoping Jerry Jones sells the team or something like that. So, Eagle fans, let me know how you feel with this one in the comment section below. As always, first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.